Okay, welcome back to Kilkenny Knife and Tool. Today we're going to do a video on the knife laws in Ireland. Okay, this does not apply to any other jurisdiction, just Ireland. We get asked a lot of questions on this particular topic, so we said we'd do a little video just to kind of give you the grounds of it. Now, we are not law professionals, so do bear this in mind as we're going through the video.
Right, yeah. So we're not offering legal advice, we're just telling you how we interpret the law. Yeah. And we're pretty well qualified now.
Yeah, well, I mean, you know, we do have a knife shop. We have to have a general knowledge, and we have sought our own legal advice with regards to the sale and distribution of the particular products. However, we do not sell anything that is on the banned weapon list.
Not even worth it.
No.
Because there's a subsection of the law for people who sell. Yeah. It's even worse for people, general people.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. So the first thing I'm going to say is the number one thing people come in and say is, what's legal for EDC?
Yeah.
And they go, oh, I have a little Victorinox. It's just a little pen knife. Put it in my pocket. Boom, that's breaking the law. There's no such thing as EDC. And then lads will come back with, oh, you're allowed less than 3 inches non-locking. Sure, that's what that is. No, that's an English law.
That's an English law, yeah. Or UK law, I think would be more.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if it changes between Wales and...
Maybe, but it's definitely UK law anyway.
Scotland, but it is UK law.
So
yeah.
we had something, was it 1922 there? Yeah. When UK law stopped applying here, yeah.
Yeah, we've been around 1922, yeah.
So
I know a lot of people don't like talking about it, but
it's a good swag of years.
We're not in the Commonwealth.
So English law does not apply in the Republic of Ireland.
Correct.
I'm sorry to tell you.
Correct.
So if you have this, yes, it's less than 3 inches, yes, it's non-locking, you're still breaking the law. I'm sorry. That's just how bad it is. But same thing with multi-tools. People say, oh, I got a little multi-tool on me. Does it have a knife? Yeah. Well then, sorry, you're breaking the law. There's no such thing as EDC, everyday carry, allowed in Ireland.
No.
Okay, so we're just going to read from the actual...
Now that's the definition of it.
Oh, sorry, yeah.
Do you know?
The number 2 thing I hate when lads come in is, oh, are you allowed to have a knife that long? I thought you're not allowed to have a knife over 5.5 inches long. That just really cracks me up. There's no legal blade length in Ireland.
None.
So you can have a 50-inch blade if you want. You can have a 1-inch blade. As long as you have reason, which we're going to go into.
Yeah. And
lads will say, oh, a guard told me you can't have over 4 inches when you're out. Not wrong.
But guards' opinions are not the law, right? And the laws that we're going to be working out of, which are the knife laws in Ireland, are the Firearms and Offensive Weapons Act 1990, right? These are available for anyone to view, right? We just have them printed off here for our own reference. And they're available on the Irish Statute Books.ie, which is I think it's the go-to place for all of the Irish laws and amendments and that kind of stuff. There is amendments to this law that they're statutory instruments that do apply to this law as well. So if you're looking at the law and you just read the actual Offensive Weapons Act and don't read the statutes that are attached to that act, you're not getting the whole picture. You do have to read the statutes as well, because they do apply to certain things. So
it's written in kind of legalese as well, and it's I think intentionally vague as well. Some parts of it are intentionally left open. So
they are, and I think in law that happens to create a grey area, so that either party can. It's more their side, but that either party can argue a point. Because if they say you're not allowed a black knife, any knife that's black would be, outlawed, as they say. But they leave things kind of vague, but they are specific about other things. And these are the things I think mainly that we'll be working on.
Legalese is what I call it. Right?
Yeah.
So I'm just going to start. The possession of knives and other articles. Where a person has with him in any public place any knife or any other article which has a blade or which is sharply pointed, shall be guilty of an offence. So that's person has any knife or any article.
Any article that is
Covers
sharpened.
Broken bottles, sharpened sticks.
Yeah.
Anything like that.
Anything that has been sharpened to a point or has a blade. Axes, any of that kind of stuff is.
Axes, saws, anything can be covered under this.
Yeah.
So it shall be a defence if the person charged can prove that he has good reason or lawful authority for having that article.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now it's that like this is an important one. It's like it's good reason or lawful authority.
So EDC is not a good reason.
No.
I just have it just in case I need to slice an apple. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, that it doesn't apply. You have to have a valid reason.
Section 3 tells you for use at work
Yeah.
or a recreational purpose.
It actually specifically says that in section 3.
For use at work or a recreational purpose.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
So work would be what if you're a butcher?
Or have a knife shop.
If you're a purveyor of fine cutlery, that would be work, wouldn't it?
I don't. Yeah.
I wonder if that ever come up.
To be honest, we can come up with 100 different examples, but if they don't apply to you at the time, then it's not a lawful authority or a good reason. So
I get comments on Facebook all the time. Well, how can you carry that? Well, how come you're allowed to carry that?
because it fits on his belt and he has a sheet that holds it. That's how.
This is just showing off.
Why is a different reason.
Yeah. I don't go for the milk and the potatoes and, carrying that. I'm not stupid.
Yeah.
I obey the law.
See, this is the other thing too, that people think you can just, the pub on a Saturday night is a good reason. And it's one that I use particularly the whole time. There's no good reason or lawful authority to have a knife with you in a pub on a Saturday night. You'll never need one. You cannot use a knife for self-defense. So there's no valid reason to have a knife with you in a pub on a Saturday night or downtown on a Saturday night, unless you work in a bar and you're going to work.
And you have a little...
Or coming from work.
A little corkscrews and popping up in your wine. And
exactly.
Bottle openers, yeah. That would be, wouldn't it, if you're a barman? Yeah.
If you're a barman, yeah. You said there is examples, but you're going out for a pint, leave your knives at home. Simple as that.
Recreational purposes would cover all kind of outdoor activities. Hunting,
camping, climbing,
canoeing.
Yeah, anything that could require a knife for. It's like anything, tying up gear, all that stuff. You will need a knife for that. So it's a recreational activity, and you have a good reason to have the knife on you.
So, okay, we've done that. So, where a person has with him any flick knife. Now, I think they use the word flick knife kind of as a general term for knife here. Any flick knife. They could have just said any knife, because they cover flick knives in the ban section later on.
Yeah, that's true, actually.
So I'm not sure. I think they just, whoever wrote this, they
put in the flick knife.
I think they consider all pocket knives flick knives, really.
Right.
Whoever wrote this is probably ignorant. I don't know. And I don't mean bad manners.
Yeah, but the definition of a flick knife would cancel that particular thing anyway.
So it should just say any knife. I don't understand that, but sure, however. One thing to really understand here as well, it's also an offence to have it to threaten or incapacitate someone, that's fine, or actually use a knife on someone, but intimidate a particular person. Yeah. So that's that's an important one. An important word, because intimidation is subjective to each individual. Yeah. So for example, I'm showing you this knife. Oh look, it's cool, yeah.
You were intimidating me.
I could be intimidating you. Or I have it on my belt. Yeah. Now, you can see it's a
you clearly see
knife.
it, yeah.
So you could feel intimidated by that knife, and you could say, Jesus, he has a knife on his hip there, the size of it. He could easily just...
He could flick it out, yeah.
That's intimidation.
And it is, yeah. And especially if you're being aggressive or argumentative or, anything like that, the presence of a knife would automatically intimidate the other person, or could automatically intimidate.
So it's subjective. You have no control over it. I'm just showing Dave the knife. He feels intimidated. that's it.
Yeah, yeah. And they
That's
say,
the law.
but there's just one other point just before we go off that one. This would also apply to the self-defense rule.
I think there's no such thing as self-defense.
But that's what it is. It's the intimidation and use. And that's why you cannot use a knife for self-defense.
Oh, yeah.
Because if you use, you're breaking this particular law.
You might intimidate the poor mugger.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
God love him, you know.
That's be straight. You can't use your fists.
If he had a bad childhood or something and he's mugging you, like, you've no right to intimidate him.
Yeah.
Come on, really.
Yeah.
So it goes through what you're guilty of and what you can be charged with, but another important part is the definition of a public place. That's very important. So a public place includes any highway, any other premises or place at any time the public have access to, whether on payment or otherwise, any club premises, any train, vessel or vehicle used for the carriage of persons for reward. So
now this does not include your personal car. Your personal car is not, unless you're a taxi driver and you're using your car to transport the public.
What's that? Taxi app called again?
There's
it's like
hail, is it? Or
yeah, they're not taxis, but they're people driving people around for a reward.
yeah, I don't think you can do that in Europe though.
No?
No, I think the Uber.
Uber, is
Yeah,
it?
I think Uber. Yeah, I don't. I could be, I could be wrong, but I don't think you can do that in Ireland or Europe.
Right.
I think there was some ruling against it. But yeah, that would be an example. If you're giving somebody a lift and they're paying you to bring them to that location, then you're doing it for a reward, and then your car, your personal property, becomes a public forum or a public area. And this would include anywhere that the public is allowed go, including this shop, including any bar premises, anything that's even public property or private property that the public have access to. And this is important because it literally means anywhere that you can go, if it's not in a private or secured area, is considered a public place. There's that.
And then there's a little thing, another little trap about trespass. So if you go into a privately owned woods, so to speak, right? It's not public.
Yeah.
But you don't have permission. You're then trespassing. So then you're not allowed to carry it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
And this is farmland or
so you
other property that you wouldn't normally have access to, because if you see the signs on the signs on these forests and on farmland, it's once you go beyond this point,
on private property.
you're on private property, you're on farmland. They're actually they're a sign that reverts your right of access without permission. So once you read that sign, then you no longer have the applied right of access, which is kind of, if somebody's going to your house from your gate to your front door, technically they're on your property, but there's an implied right of access to your front door to ring the doorbell. Now, if you had a sign at your front door, or at your front gate rather, that would state that once you're beyond this point, you're trespassing, that removes their implied right of access. And that's what farms and forestry and other places do by posting the signs. And then once you go beyond that, then you are actually trespassing.
So you might go into a forest and think, oh great, I can have my knives and stuff. Well, if you're trespassing, then you're still guilty of the offence.
Correct.
Thanks for watching. Hit the like button, subscribe, share, and stay tuned for part 2.